As the Edmonton Oilers take Game 1 of the second round series over the Vegas Golden Knights, they now shift their focus to Game 2 on Thursday right here in Vegas. And I am so pleased today to be joined by Bob Stauffer. And Bob, as the Oilers shift their focus to Game 2, we're going to take a moment to focus on what was Game 1 and the manner in which the Edmonton Oilers won that game. Of course, they find themselves down early in the first period, but with this team, they don't let that bother them. What did you think about what we saw rest of the way through?
Yeah, we'll start by talking about Edmonton, and then we'll shift our focus to Vegas for Game 2 coming up. But I think, what we've noticed with Edmonton here over the course of this playoffs and really over the last couple of years is I personally think that this is a mature team, okay? They've got some playoff experience. There's a calmness that it gets exuded around the team. Yeah. Sometimes that comes from your leadership, and sometimes it comes from coaching. But whatever the case, I don't see panic with Edmonton. I think their players realize they play on a pretty good team. They have some pretty good players. They're different than last year's team, but they are experienced. They got guys that aren't playing for them that would be playing on other teams' playoff teams. And so what they achieved last night, I think, was somewhat unpredictable, just given how good Vegas has been as a playoff team themselves. Yeah. Golden Knights are a well-run organization; they're well coached, but the Oilers have a way to stay in the fight. They have a goaltender playing in Calvin Pickard, who has fought his way to work his way back into the National Hockey League and given them solid starts. And to me, he resembles a little bit how Grant Fuhr used to play, where maybe you'd get one past him early, but he settles down. But I can't reinforce this more. There's a calmness about how Edmonton plays, and then they get to their game. They're probably more capable now of forechecking than in the past because of some different players that got added really for the playoffs. I mean, Vander Kane didn't play all season. Trent Frederick was limited to 7 minutes as an Oiler. Those two players have changed the dynamic of what Edmonton has up front. John Klingberg coming in, he can really manage the puck well. He's a smart player. This is a good squad. And, 5 straight come-from-behind victories in a row. It's been, if you're an Oiler partisan, it's been exciting to watch. But I think that right now the Oilers have they believe, and they believe that they can, if need be, that they can work their way back into games if they go under duress a little bit early in the games.
Something that you mentioned when you talk about John Klingberg, Vander Kane, Trent Frederick, all of those guys coming back from injury, you're wondering how they're going to perform. Someone who, but they've been performing very, very well, but someone who also had that narrative a little while ago was Connor Brown. Him during the playoffs, it's almost like he reaches a new level. He elevates his game, and he brings a certain energy as well.
So I've always liked Connor Brown. I really liked Connor Brown and Nick Paul when they played in Ottawa. I used to have that conversation with Pierre Dorian, their former general manager, and I think people need to realize, like, that injury that Connor Brown has, sometimes it takes players 2 years to come back from. And I think we're, as good as Connor and Matthias Janmark and Adam Henrique played together last year, especially, games 4 through 7 of the Stanley Cup final and some big moments in the series against Dallas. I think clearly Connor Brown is even at a higher level right now. Yeah. And I think it's just a byproduct that he's back to where he was before he suffered that injury in Washington, and the Oilers are benefiting from it. And there's a degree of he's always been a good support scorer, yeah. And he scored 20 goals a couple times in his NHL career. Was involved in a massive play for Team Canada one year at the World Hockey Championship, and he gives the Oilers tempo and pace. And Edmonton is. Collectively, they're playing fast. I think you can make the argument, Paige, they don't have as fast a team. They don't have quite the same team speed up front as they had last year. But the puck does the work. That's what smart players realize. And they've got experienced smart players, and they can get the puck up the ice, and they can create some chaos on opposition teams. And the way Edmonton kind of took over last night's game, I think Jack Michael's page tweeted out after the game that Vegas was limited to 4 even-strength shots in the final 2 periods. I mean, that was a clinic.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, it isn't a best of 1. it's a best of 7.
100%.
And so we're gonna get a pretty good idea coming up tomorrow in terms of what sort of pushback Vegas has.
That being said, what do you expect to see from a Vegas Golden Knights team that they're deep up front, they're deep on the blue line, and they do have a pretty good netminder as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, and I thought Aiden Hill was good in the second because the Oilers were terrific in the second period. Based on practice today, it looks like William Karlsson's going to move back to the third line, and they're going to move Barbashev up to the top line, so there'll be a change there. Alex Pietrangelo and Pavel Dorofeyev did not skate today. Pietrangelo had an illness. When I watched a little bit of that Minnesota series, to me, Pietrangelo didn't look like the same guy that he'd been. That's just my own personal observation. So I don't know they said it was an illness. I don't know what's quite is going on there. But again, nothing but respect for Vegas.
Yeah.
They won a Stanley Cup. They've been a model franchise. They have some advantages, no tax state and all those other things, but they are a well-run, hard-working organization. There's no debate or doubt about it. This is you know what? Like when Bruce Cassidy says the Oilers are a heavyweight, well, I got news for you. This is a heavyweight fight between these have been the two best teams in the Pacific Division for several years now, and so I'm expecting in a fight. There's an old saying. I think Mike Tyson. It was famously stated. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. Well, the Oilers landed a bomb last night. I expect Vegas to swing back. But the one thing that we've learned this year is the Edmonton Oilers have a pretty strong chin. And that has been evidenced by their ability to come back from 2-0 down against LA, to come back in Game 3 in the fashion they did, to come back in Game 4 in the fashion that they did, to walk in LA, dominate a game, and be 1-1 after 2, and just continue to work away and play what's now turned out to be their second best game of the playoffs, because last night was their best. So I'm expecting a solid performance from the Golden Knights. But I think if you're an Oilers fan, you're also watching a team that should have some confidence in what they can achieve as well.
And we're very confident that it's going to be a fantastic Game 2 here in Vegas. It's a fantastic, beautiful day. The sun is shining, Bob. The only thing that we're missing is your shades. So I hope that you're able to find those later. No
shades. I'm going in the rink for about 3.5 hours to do a couple shows here. So, and there's no sunshine out there. But thank you very much for the reference. You know what? The suggestion of the web team a couple times over the last year. You guys have. You're on it. You know it. You know our fan base. There's no question about that.
One thing that we're always trying to do is look out for you, Bob.
Well, there we go. Well, there's a lot of me to look out for.
All right. We can't wait for Game 2 right here in Vegas.